So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. Years ago, I was frustrated because I lost that. I was confused, I was frustrated, and then I met Mo Norman and learned the single plane swing. And so now I wake up every day and I know I'm going to hit it well, I know I'm going to play well, I know I'm going to have fun. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing.
All right, so one of the most important clubs in the bag obviously is the driver. And why is this important? Well, let's just talk about what happens when you don't hit the driver well, right? And I talk to people a lot about this at my golf schools in the sense that golf is a great game. And I'm sure we can go shoot great scores, and you do that with your short game and putting, and I get all that. And that's a very important part of scoring is your short game, right? Chipping, putting, making putts, all that stuff. So don't forget that short game is a critical element. I'm not ignoring short game in this conversation. However, I want to make this point. If you hit your driver poorly and you're playing out of the rough and you hit it OB and you're in the trees and you're not hitting it well, golf is a very frustrating and not fun game. I can tell you that right now. On the other flip side of that coin is that if you hit the driver well and then you go and you don't putt so well and you don't chip so well, you can still say, well, I had a good time, hit it pretty good, just didn't make too many putts, right? So my point is that yes, we need all those different parts of the game. They're all very important to playing well. If you're into scoring, great. You need to score well. You need to chip and putt and hit the driver well. But the driver is the one that kind of determines whether you have fun or not. I know that sounds kind of contrary, but fun is made from the fairways. I hate looking for golf balls. Matter of fact, if you play golf with me, there's a good chance that I'm not going to look for your golf ball in the rough. I just think it's kind of like distracts from my game. I'm sorry, I'll give you a dozen golf balls before we play. I just don't like looking for golf balls. If I'm going to play my game, I'm going to go play my game. So I don't want to be rude, I just don't like looking for golf balls, mine or anybody else's. So I like it when people hit the driver really well. So today I want to talk about the basic elements of driving the golf ball well and the single plane swing. But I think we need to first cover the idea of single plane and the driver, because most of the time that I am showing you single plane, it's always with like a 6-iron. So let's just talk about the single plane address position with the driver, and let's just talk about the basics. Nothing is changing, and the swing is exactly the same swing that I've talked about with a wedge, a 6-iron, or any other club. But obviously this is the longest club in the bag with the least amount of loft. So when you see me set up in a single plane with this club, I'm obviously a little further from the golf ball because it is a longer club. You see the ball is on a tee, and I have my widest stance. So I have a wide stance, the ball is on a tee, and I'm further from the golf ball. Now, and I'll go through some more of those things, the basic principles of driving the ball and the mechanics here in a second, the variables. But let's look at the single plane address position with the driver. When you see me set up, you still see the trail arm lining up with the club shaft, see that? You still see the tilt of my body, and the lead arm is visible above that trail arm from this down the line view. So there you go, there's that single plane setup. Notice the club is going through the middle of my body, middle of my back, and you can't see it as well, but I have the proper tilt of my body, and there's your single plane swing. I'm gonna go back and then come down and return that club right back to the same plane that it started. Mechanics are exactly the same. Now, look at the face-on view of this for just a minute. And I want you to see this because when you look at this angle, this is what most people see when they see a single plane swing is stance width. So when you look at my setup here, notice that the ball position, when I get my foot set up, is going to be on the inside of this foot. Watch why. Because when I come down, the club's going to go through the bottom of the swing arc, and then it's going to start to slightly lift, and I launch the golf ball from that tee if I have the proper tee height. But look at something really quick. Stance width is really important to the launch. Let me show you why. Notice that when my stance gets wide when I hit a driver, so obviously a very long club, I want to produce speed. I want stability in my lower body. So by going a little bit wider, now I have a nice stable base to produce rotational speed and speed of the golf club. So I want a nice stable base. But the other thing it's doing for me is my stance width is placing my head well behind the golf ball. You know how they always say, you've heard it before in instruction, stay behind the golf ball? Well, you don't have to do this with a single plane swing because you're already there. Look at my position at address now. So I have my ball position inside my lead foot here. Okay, so there's driver ball position. I have my trail foot in a wide position. And now the club is beneath my nose. It's pointing to my lead side there. That's that pivot point area we talk about. And now look at my position. My head is well behind the golf ball. All I gotta do is take the club back and bring it back down. And the club naturally, because of my position, goes through the bottom of the arc and starts coming up. You see how the stance width and ball position create the ideal dynamics of launch for the club head. And I'll just show you what the opposite of that might be. If I had too narrow of a stance, so let's say my stance was too narrow, I see this happen a lot, the club then makes a downward angle to the golf ball. Well, so now I'm hitting down on the golf ball. Obviously it's on a tee, I don't want to do that. So what people will do is they'll go get a more lofted driver or a less lofted driver because they're hitting so down on it. So they start messing around too much with the club that they're hitting. The last variable that I want you to deal with is this. I want you to get all these mechanics correct. I want you to get the ball position correct, the tee height correct, the stance width correct, your single plane golf swing and your mechanics are all perfect. And then I want you to finally deal with the golf club, which is based on the speed you're producing and the flight of the golf ball, the spin rate and the launch, I want you to get the right loft. So this is the last variable that I want you to deal with. And most people, the problem is they deal with this as almost the first variable. They go buy a new driver and say, oh, I'm gonna keep working on my driver. Goes too high, I wanna hit one further, goes too low. And they're not fixing the basics of the mechanics. So what I teach is the opposite of that. I want you to fix these mechanics, get all the variables correct, tee height, ball position, stance width, get this correct, and then this will be the last one you deal with. So let me just kind of show you this, and I'll hit a shot for you here. Walk you through this one more time with the driver. So I make sure the ball is teed up, at least half the ball of the top of the club. You gotta launch it. You're hitting it slightly in the upward path of the golf club. And then what I'm gonna do here is get in my single plane setup position, nice wide stance where I like it. And then all I gotta do is take the club back and down and return it. I'm gonna go shoulder to shoulders here. And there's a nice pattern of a golf shot. So what you're seeing here is all the single plane elements are there, nice single plane position, nicely on plane, all the way through, and the mechanics are there. Remember, always with single plane swing, lead knee is flexed, trail heel is down, and then you come up. Don't forget to review those mechanics with a single plane swing. The driver, make sure you get good with this golf club. And one final note here on the driver, and this is a practice note for you. When I go to the range, and let's say I'm gonna hit 100 golf balls, so I got 100 golf balls in my bag here. I hit 50 of those golf balls with a driver, half. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but think about it for a second. Most of the golf shots off the tee, you're gonna hit 12 of them or so, or 14 of them probably on a golf course, right? Other than the par threes. 14. That's a third, almost a third of the golf shots, full shots that you will hit in a round of golf, right? So a lot of, and those shots set you up for your best golf. You've got to become great with the driver. I asked Mo this question. I said, Mo, what's your favorite club in your bag? He said the driver. I want you to put that in your mind as we close down this video today. Just think, if the driver was your favorite club in the bag, how much fun would golf be? So make sure that you spend a lot of time, get your mechanics right, get all these variables correct, and practice that driver. Hit lots of golf balls, become great with the driver, and just watch how much fun you have playing the game of golf. Thanks for joining me today. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that little bell icon, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I look forward to seeing you again soon.